noon, or better in the crimson sunset's glow. I love thee, oh, I love thee, oh, I love thee.
Very dearest, beloved, divine friends and family, welcome to another in the series of Guyana elections 2020. The Guyana madness, brought to you with the compliments of the RK's Guyana Free Media to edify you locally in Guyana, in the diaspora and around the world. I have some articles that I would like to read, which I know a lot of people are appreciative of. This one is taken from Kissoon News, Thursday, June 4th, and the other one is taken from Friday, June 5th. This has to do with the reading on 5th by... Okay, let's stop. Let's go back here, right? Yes, June 5th has to do with Peeping, an extraterrestrial experience. And the one for the 4th, Thursday, Freddie Kissoon's column, Nagamootoo's figures came from the ghost ship. And also I will start with Freddie Kissoon's article on this, the period of recounters. We are coming to an end. We have noticed some strange things are happening in the stronghold of the PPP, where the folios and the paperwork and the other items are not being found in the boxes. And then they're saying that the PPP manipulated that. I mean, so ludicrous, some people and some politicians, how they are, as if a person's stronghold, that same party whose supporters are known in that stronghold, will go and interfere with their votes to prevent them from winning an election. I mean, politics really produce some mentally ill, some mentally sick people around the world, but more so in this land of Guyana, I am ashamed to say. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to use your sanitizers, all your exposed parts of your body. Please, about 20 seconds, move your finger rings, the palms, and so on. And don't forget to use your face mask, ladies and gentlemen, for your protection and to prevent infecting others, for you may be a carrier. You may not know that you have it, but you may be carrying. Nagamootoo's figures came from the ghost ships by Freddie Kissoon. There's only one personality in the movie Ghost Ship that overshadows the presence of Moses Nagamootoo with some papers in his hand. That personality is the amazing Italian beauty Francesca Retondini, singing the evergreen Italian ballad Senza Fine. The hundreds of people dancing to Senza Fine on the cruise liner while Nagamootoo goes through his papers are dead people. What we call in Guyana, zombies. The hundreds of people dancing to Senza Fine on the cruise liner while Nagamootoo goes through his papers are dead people, what we call in Guyana, zombies. And this is Freddie Kissoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to salute the man for his fight for democracy and the fact that he is hated by any government in power, anyone in power, because he speaks and he feels he owes nobody nothing. Thank God for men like him, for men like Christopher Ram, Jerry Guyana, so many others, and to a lesser extent, yours truly. It was these ghosts on the ship that handed Nagamootoo the 2020 election results that he wrote in the Chronicle of March 8. and in the 2020 elections, 473,000, I beg your pardon, 473,352 persons voted as against 412,012 persons in 2015. From these numbers, the APNO AFC polled 237 and 4 votes, and PPPC 229, 344, which gives the former a narrow lead of 7,660 votes. Again, it was a narrow margin as in 2015. And when computed, the unofficial projection is that the coalition would again have a 1-seat majority in the National Assembly. As we rear to the end of the recount, with 20% of the boxes left to tally, at the time of writing, the PPP is leading by just over 18,000 votes. The recount so far give the APNO plus AFC 162,557. If you take Nagamooto's number, it means that the APNO and AFC will receive about 75,000 votes more. But when you look at where the boxes are left to be counted, 75,000 is an impossible achievement. In Region 6, a stronghold, there are 30 boxes to be opened. Surely that lead of 18,000 is going to increase with a voting population of 64,000. There are 25 boxes to check for Region 10, of which the APNO AFC will collect a majority, but that district has a voting number of 22,000 votes. In Region 4, there are at time of writing yesterday, that is writing on the 3rd to catch the 4th, 364 boxes, many of which are in PPP areas. So it leaves the question to be asked, with votes coming in for the PPP in Region 6 and Region 4, could the APNO and AFC acquire 75,000 votes? Nagamootoo has to answer that. And a quick commentary. If we notice James Bond and a few other pronouncements, that the number will dwindle to 7,000 for the PPP and then lower as they go into the PPP areas. And they're now finding a number of boxes where several items are missing, which means there was some kind of internecine skullduggery plan, like the Mingo grouping and manipulation, that they know they did something in that box. And being tired and fatigued and people want to go home, the smart, prepared persons in the PPP enhanced and enriched area, I believe, the items were removed and smartly hidden and tricked and pulled like a little magician operating. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to study James Bond's words to see him exposing himself, that he knew this was going to happen. An intriguing part of the results of the recount numbers so far is the vote catch for the small parties. Let us look at Nagamooto's numbers in the Chronicle and compartment, according to Freddie Kissoon. You will see that the AFC did not bring anything to the PNC table. Captain Hughes' words at the AFC's November 2019 press conference are haunting the PNC. Mrs. Hughes said the PNC never won an election on its own. The PNC went into a dead coalition partner and thus was on its own and thus lost the 2020 battle. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe they knew they were going to lose, and that's why they're playing with the votes in the PPP stronghold in Region 4, and they manipulated this thing here knowing this was going to happen. It is a fact. The People's National Congress cannot win, and Guyanese, even people in their own District 4 or Region 4, are not masochists. They will have their lovers, they will have their admirers, they will have those who they paid the $5,000, or go and show and take the photograph, as Nagamootoo said. Take the photograph of your poll, come outside and show it to the party personnel, and you will get a Granger or two. Here are the votes the small parties got according to Nagamootoo. Anog 2,288, Change Guyana 2,024, Liberty and Justice Party 2,263, People's Republican Party 8-858, the Citizens Initiative 675, the New Movement 230, United Republican Party 394, the total is 8,754. The preachers of the fake ballots from the cemeteries, yeah, I've seen someone in the cemetery burying somebody and ashamedly calling out for people to vote for their party. The preachers of the fake ballots from the cemeteries, like this guy Freddie Kissoon is something else, you know. I like this guy. The preachers of the fake ballots from the cemeteries and migrants need to ask Nagamootoo how these small parties were able to collect almost 9,000 votes. Now that Mingo rotten mangoes were discovered in the recount, Nagamotoo's ghost friends did a number on him. With a lead of 18,000 so far by the PPP plus 7,000 for the small parties from the recount so far, it is analytically simple to explain why the APNO and AFC lost. Three factors are at work that explains the 2020 election result. First, those third-party votes were the ballots that persons withdrew from the AFC in 2020. And they gave the AFC in 2011 and 2015. Secondly, the current lead by the PPP includes the votes that went to the AFC in 2011 and 2015, like in WIM. The AFC, well, you know, you gotta say APNO AFC, got only 6 votes in WIM, where Moses was born, his own hometown, a total shame and disgrace. And the AFC actually died politically. And whatever they enjoy, should by some magic the APNO get into power, is at the behest and the kindness of the APNO donating seats and ministries to them as a gesture of goodwill for just participating. I repeat for the umpteenth time, end of commentary, I repeat for the umpteenth time, the PNC could not have pulled it off because the PNC entered the election as essentially the PNC. Its coalition partner AFC had gone deep into the ground in the Labrapentier cemetery. Thirdly, mixed race citizens, Amerindians and undecided voters showed their annoyance at the APNO and AFC and decided to punish them. If you look at the APNO and AFC campaign 6 weeks before polling day, there was immense emphasis on Amerindian areas. If you recall, there was a big party in Region 9 and they expect those people to vote for them. There was a big party in Georgetown and they expect the whole Georgetown district to vote for them, everybody like maniacs. And I had to tell one of the guys, man, I like this young man, I won't call his name, handsome young man, bright boy, loved the party, he loved his party, respect that. I had to tell them, people go to party for party. And they will go next day and vote against you, especially if they've lost interest and you did not keep your word to look after their interest. Even the First Lady was drafted into the campaign because she appears to be partly Amerindian. That failed for the PNC because even though she is fine, decent woman, the First Lady had no political experience whatsoever, so her presence in the Amerindian village were more formalistic than politically oriented. It did not translate into magic. Can I salute Freddie Kissoon? I like his words. Can I, operator, can I have Freddie Kissoon on my screen there? Freddie, I love your word, man, magic. Finally, for the PNC to have won, the turnout had to be in the late 70s and early 80s. Nagamootoo in his chronicle theme put it at 71%. This is extremely disappointing for a party that wrested power from the PPP and was the incumbent that was promising so much. So friends and families, there is end part 1 of this broadcast. And I continue to part 2 of the reading taken from Kaichor News, 5th of June 2020 by Peeping, the man who likes to peep. He likes to peep and seek and see. And he seems he sees some special things. because the topic of this on 5th of June 2020, an extraterrestrial experience by Peeping. The members of the CARICOM team who are observing the recount of the ballots of the 2020 elections will never forget their present experience. They can write a bestseller about the things they have seen and heard over the past few weeks in Guyana. They will never experience anything like this that they are doing now, not in their wildest imagination. Would they have imagined that they could be witnesses to the most palpable and pathetic display by a ruling coalition which attempted to steal an election? This may appear all unreal. I am substituting the word surreal. But this is Guyana, the place where the most unimaginable things occur, according to Peeping. Objective 24 names. Objective 24 names of persons who supposedly voted at polling station in Belladrum, only to discover that the other parties only got a total of 5 votes in that polling station. It means the party was objecting to 19 of its own supporters. Excuse me. Newsroom Guyana reported yesterday that the APNO and AFC in one instant objected to 81 names. When a ballot box was opened, GCOM staff had to go through the entire list to check out those names. And when they did, they found that only 5 persons of the 81 had actually voted. Only 5 persons of the 81 had actually voted. Why are these people making such idiots and fool of themselves out of political despotism? Back to the article. This is part of the tactic to delay and drag out the recount process. Where else in the world would such crazy objections be made? These objections are the primary reason why the CARICOM team is still here, rather than back home. A process which should have been concluded in 25 days has now had to be extended because of the innumerable precious objections which are being made to concoct a narrative of irregularities, according to Peeping. Well, this time is not long time. You know, I like that old song. You know, this time a long time, this time a long time, da, 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 da. This time a long time, this time a long. Anyhow, that's what. Smile a little bit, friends and families. Back to the article. Well, this is not long time. This time people are able to respond almost immediately to some of the allegations. This time the public and the media are doing far more fact-checking and doing so promptly, as we are seeing. The APNO and AFC is being exposed for what it truly is, according to Peeping. I'm just a reader, a kind of part commentator, according to Peeping. The CARICOM team members must be bewildered by what they are witnessing. They would not have expected that these sorts of objections are being made in a simple recount exercise for an election which the ruling coalition said they won, and which they bragged would have been confirmed by the recount. The team must be asking itself why a recount was necessary when the results of the districts are so far completed: 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 9. More or less conformed with the results originally declared by the returning officers of these districts. The only controversy was Region 4, and all it would have taken was for the Chief Elections Officer to simply produce his statements of polls and compare those with Mingo's numbers for District 4. This would have avoided having to do a recount. They would have seen the most unfathomable decision of the chairperson of GCOM sending a list of supposed migrated persons for verification by the Chief Immigration Officer, without first verifying that these persons had actually voted. What is the use of checking a list of alleged migrated persons when there has been no verification that these persons would have voted? Thank you, Peeping. Thank you, Mr. Peeping. Stop peeping. Too much of peeping is not good. observers would have been baffled just how, given all the controls in place, the dead and migrated could have voted. When they go back home, these observers are going to relay someday their experience of the recount. And Guyana will not look good in the eyes of the Caribbean, even to the children and the children of the observers of the Caribbean. Guyana will continue to be ashamed in the eyes of the Caribbean, just like it was in the 80s, when Guyana destroyed one of the instruments which facilitated the trade in goods. Guyana bankrupted the Caribbean Multilateral Clearing Facility, and this set back the integration movement like nothing else. According to Peeping, Guyana used to be made fun of when they went to Caribbean countries. They were only allowed $40 to leave with. But sorry, ladies and gentlemen, when I went overseas, I had to go with to study $25. Yeah, it was a time of terrible shame and degradation and disgrace. And a lot of you young people who are jumping and whining and doing wrong things don't know what they did to Guyana and turned us into a basket case and a nation of disgrace in Guyana, where your body parts were being searched at the airport, your most private body parts, and people who had something had to leave it or be locked up, and they would leave it even though it was legal, because they just didn't want to miss their flight and be locked up. And a lot of those police, customs, and other people became very wealthy. This is my advice to some of you who don't know what they did in the 70s and the 80s. $40 to leave with, and the islanders used to laugh at Guyanese because of the foreign exchange controls which restricted the monies that persons could leave the country with. When locals went abroad, I must tell you, one time I'm coming with a gallon of paint from Karivutan that I bought in a store, and I was stopped at Vigilance Police Station, and I was asked, where is the receipt? I said, man, it's only a gallon of paint. I bought it in the store. I don't have time to walk with a receipt for that. Well, you must walk with a receipt, otherwise we could arrest you and lock you up. And some people, they would have taken everything they got, their money, their wealth, their pocket and everything, threatened to seize their car and all kind of thing. This is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Hundreds of people lost their cars. Hundreds of women had to turn to dirty ways to save their skin from being imprisoned. Many of our beautiful women left their husbands. Husband trusted them, went to Trinidad, and was actually selling their bodies to get money to bring goods to suppliers in Border Green. This is some of the things that happened in this country. It's not happening anymore. Hugh Desmond Hoyt, when he took power, put an end to all of that. But the damage to the mind and to our name was already done. Back to the article. Guyanese would go hunting for bread and cheese to bring back, since these items were either restricted or in short supply. You couldn't get cheese. You couldn't get bread. If you caught you making bread, it was jail. If you had a little bit of flour, it was jail. Because of the economic crisis in Guyana, many persons left to find jobs in the Caribbean islands. Many of them overstayed their time and stayed illegally in those countries, being hunted and abused, made into slave-like situations. Some of our women became sex slaves. This too has given Guyana a bad reputation to this day. Now that Guyana is an oil-producing state, it provided an opportunity for our people to reclaim their self-respect. But look at what the APNO AFC, according to Peeping, is saying, is engaged at the moment. This is disgraceful and infamous. We will continue to be the laughingstock of the Caribbean. When the dust settles on this election process, they will have to decide what sort of image they want for this country and how best they can avoid the shamefulness which is taking place at the moment, whereby the losers of an election are claiming that the opposition rigged the elections for the ruling party to win, which is taking place at the moment, whereby the losers of an election are claiming that the opposition rigged the elections for the ruling party to win. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and families, thank you for tuning in once again to this, the Guyana Madness, Election 2020. Read to you by me, Haji Roshan Khan, from the various newspapers, and brought to you for your understanding and your participation and cooperation. Many people have told me they're happy it's being read, they can't read, they're not getting the newspaper, and they like the way that I do it. So by the grace of God, I'm happy for the skills that God has given me, and friends and families that has worked for goodwill. Whoever gets into power, trying to create an atmosphere to encourage the major opposition and to work for constitutional change for us to have a true national government, or where winner will not take all. We need constitutional change in our country, and we need to work for the parties to work together. But we can't do it right now, right this minute, because they don't trust each other. And whoever is the major one, the smaller one, obviously will try to sabotage them. This is sad for our country. So friends and families, your brother, you're truly me, at Hiroshima saying thank you for tuning in, and farewell, friends.